It's gonna be a different video from what I usually do. Because usually I'd give some guides on how you can be more productive, how you can study better. But I'm gonna keep it more real in this video. Because I think the school system kinda sucks. And yeah, even though I have good grades, I've gotten to a top university and I should be proud of myself, right? So why did I feel this sense of emptiness? Because recently I was talking to this guy called Kevin. He's a year 5 student and he's sitting opposite me in the cafeteria and we're eating breakfast together. And keep in mind, I was a year 1 freshman and so I did not know jack shit about school. I literally didn't even know how to select the courses from the online system. And so I went to him for advice. And then I remember asking him how to ace this very specific course, Math 1853. But then he says something like this. And it wasn't the conventional advice that someone would usually give. And he's telling me that I can't just lock myself in my room all day and just study. Because all the other people, they're sharing resources, they're sharing information, past papers, mock schemes. They're sharing all those things with each other. But I'm just in my room, completely locked away from other people. But that made me realize that there's so many ways to game the school system. And it's not even related to studying at all. And so I think school has conditioned us to believe that if we just study hard, if we just work hard, good things will come to us. But I honestly don't think that's true anymore. I'm kind of thinking that studying is kind of pointless. Yeah, I actually think that studying is kind of pointless. Around 6 months ago, I'm talking to this friend of my mom's over the phone. He owns a tech startup and he does management consulting services or something like that. I can't really remember. And then I'm asking him for advice on what I should do in university. And so now I'm talking with this guy over the phone and I'm asking him for advice. And he says to me, school isn't a place to learn new things. It's a place to learn how to learn. And it's been stuck in my mind ever since. I mean, if you think about it, the things that you're learning right now, maybe you're in high school and you're learning the IGCSE, A-level, IB, SAT, whatever syllabus that you take. The shit that they make you study is really outdated. I used to study ICT and I asked my teacher, hey, is this stuff even relevant nowadays? And he says that this syllabus is 30 years old and they haven't even changed it ever since. So just think about that for a second and think about whether what you're learning is actually important or not. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't study. I don't want you to click off from this video and think that I'm telling you not to study. Because in fact, it's the opposite. You need to find ways to study that doesn't suck away your social life and the rest of your time. Because you're a student right now, and what you should be doing is developing new skills. And so if you spend all your time studying, you have no way to build your character. And your character is something that is going to be super important for you in the future. Because what I've learned is that the ability to deal with people is king. You can be the most smart person in the world. You can be the best at what you do in a job. But if you don't know how to communicate with people, if you don't know how to socialize properly, you're not going to be successful. And that's just the harsh truth of it. Yeah, it's kind of harsh, but it is what it is. I used to think that studying was the only thing that mattered. And I think school is a really good place for you to develop your skills. Mostly your social skills. Because at school, you're surrounded with many other people. So try and talk to them. Try and make friends with them. And try and practice your communication skills so you can become a better communicator, a more effective leader. Go participate in some sports, some extracurricular activities. Become the basketball captain, become the swimming captain. Take up some roles in the student council. Maybe work on a couple of side projects that you're really ambitious about. This YouTube channel was actually a little side project of mine that I created 9 months ago. At that time, I could not imagine that it would go up to this level, but look at where it is now. So make sure you don't obsess over what you're studying, and make sure you actually find time outside of studying to develop yourself. And I think the next thing that you need to know in order to break the school system is to question literally everything. Because I remember when I was a kid, at around 15 years old, my mom told me that I was a very introverted person, that I couldn't talk to people very well. And she's telling me that I'm like that because back then when I was a kid, when I was in like grade 1 and in kindergarten, I didn't like socializing with people. I didn't like play with the other kids in playgroup. I was at home reading books. But that belief, I think subconsciously somewhere, that belief stuck with me and it's been impacting me up until now. And even now, I'm struggling to break that belief. I sometimes still have that belief that I'm a very socially awkward person. I don't really share this kind of stuff with other people, but I'm gonna share it with you because I wanna keep it real in this video. You also need to question the methods that you've been using to study. Because ever since you were in primary school, the teacher forced you to take notes. And it's not your fault. I mean, it's not your fault at all. Like, I fell victim to this. Every single student has probably fallen victim to this. The teacher reads off the presentation and you take notes mindlessly off that presentation. And I want you to critically think about that. Are you actually learning when you do that? Or is it just something that has just been put into you since you were a little kid? And so you need to break the beliefs, whatever they may be, that have been put into your brain since you were a little kid. I just want to share you an experience that I've had last week. And it was such a fun experience and I really want to share it with you right now. So I'm walking into my judo class and it's my first time ever learning judo. I've done martial arts before. I've done Muay Thai, Taekwondo, a little bit of Taekwondo, and Aikido. So you know how there's like striking, like the punching, kicking? Judo had absolutely none of that. It was about tossing people in the air. And so I had literally zero experience with that. So now I'm sitting down on the judo mats with a couple of other students and we were watching a sparring match. And let me tell you, judo is actually way more aggressive than you think. These guys, they were legitimately trying to like throw each other on the ground. And so I'm watching that sparring match and I'm just mesmerized by it. I'm just mesmerized by how these people can just toss each other in the air so effortlessly, so gracefully. And so now it's time for me to perform some of these tricks that I saw. I'm standing up and in front of me is a training instructor. And I'm trying to throw him and I'm trying to replicate some of the techniques that I saw in the sparring match. And I struggle because I'm just like complete shit at judo. I don't even know how to grab the collar properly. I don't even know how to like break balance and all of the other basic shit that you learn in judo. I don't know any of that. But I struggle and somehow I start to learn how to actually do it. My body becomes more accustomed to the movements. There's one time where I'm actually able to land the move. And let me tell you, it felt so good to be able to actually learn and execute a new move. Something that I've never actually done before. It made me feel like a kid again. Like I'm discovering a completely new world. And I want to tell you this story because I just want you to know that you shouldn't just be learning in school. You should be learning outside of school as well. And as students, we've learned how to learn, right? So why don't we apply this and actually start learning things outside of the school? Because lifelong learning is a skill. It's a skill that you develop when you're in school. But a lot of people, after they graduate high school, they don't learn anything. And they just like, forgive me for saying this, but they just fuck around. They don't do anything. But nowadays, most people are just like on their phones, scrolling on TikToks, watching Instagram reels. It's honestly sad to watch. But if you just keep learning, you will succeed in the school system. I guarantee it. As always, may God guide us on the right path, and I'll see you in the next video.